Well, it's Pistol Pete, Mr. Loa, Smoking Lojas in the house. We're coming through YouTube straight into your house. Bringing all the gossip and the news, and we're loud. So sit back, pop a cold one. The Peach Street Podcast is on now.
Yo, welcome back to the Peach Street Podcast. It's your boy Pistol Pete.
Smoky Lonjas.
Mr. Loa.
Chinatown Chukis.
And with us, our special guest, is Miss Valerie Trujillo, running for city council, and she wants to introduce herself. So how about it?
Hi, everybody. Valerie Trujillo, currently your city council member for seat number 5 here in Pecos. I don't have a nickname for me yet, so hold on, give me a little bit, and I'm going to think of something here in a bit.
Yeah, she's going to get it by the time we hit pause. Okay, so welcome. All right, welcome to Peach Street. We've been talking about this for a while, so we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so reaching out to us, the idea that you came to reach out, I believe you reached to Loa, right?
Right.
How can I say it? You came to reach out for us because you want to let the people know what are the plans for the new that you coming up with. Like, for example, I have a question regarding like getting reelecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
To come to our show, let the people know why you want them to hear you out and why they should reelect you again.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I reached out to Loa on Facebook. I've been following and I've been a fan of you guys for a while, and I love your format. I like that you guys get together, start talking about things that are important to y'all, like politics. I love that you interviewed the high school kids, the BPA kids, a couple months back. I was a previous teacher, and seeing those kids up there talking about what they're passionate about, being able to get in the podcast, I guess, genre of communication and social media. It spoke to me, and I thought, you know what, I like what these guys stand for. That I like the relationship they have within each other. They have, you can talk about stuff that's serious, and then you kind of like start joking around, and I love that. That to me spoke to me because that's like Pecos, right? Like, that's our community. We can talk about things that are important, politics, sensitive issues, but then we can also start, clowning on each other and making fun and kind of going off topic. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out to these guys to see if they would be interested in getting together and just kind of talking about the things that are important to the community, to the voters of Pecos. If they have any questions, I know sometimes these events kind of, there's like Meet the Candidates, that's on April 15th, but maybe some people are working or you can't make it out. So I thought, you know what, let's have another mode of communication. Let me get with these guys and see if people are comfortable reaching out, asking me some questions. So I thought, hey, I was really happy when you reached out and you're like, you know what, let me get with the guys and see if we can do this. So I'm excited. Let's see what people have to ask.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thanks for the kind words, right? I'm glad to have someone that watches the show with us. And real quick, big shout out to Joey for letting us use the spot. Look at this. Looks really nice out here. So shout out to Joey out here. Good. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the community definitely needs to get more involved, right? And it'd be nice if more candidates got involved in some of this stuff, and our platform, like you said, it's not just, so we can get famous or anything. It's just so the public can hear things that are going on in our area, and they should, want to know what's happening, ask questions, because, well, I mean, gente de Pecos, y'all wait too long, y'all, something happens, there's a voting going on, and then y'all don't like it, and then y'all start bringing up things after the fact, right? So this is for before, right? Bring it on up.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Like, reach out, don't be nervous or intimidated to come out to city council meetings. I know school board meetings, sometimes we hit Facebook afterwards, like, what, man, what's going on? Why did they vote this? Like, what the hell are they thinking?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we're in city council, and the room's empty. There's nobody there unless there's a really hot ticket agenda item, standing room only, or there's no parking. So I think if we all get involved, write stuff down, email,
right,
formats like this, I think it's great. Let's talk about it.
That's right. And with that being said, I want to give a shout out to Pecos Little League, the Astros. You guys come check us out. We'll be playing at Cyclone and Chano Prieto Field. And also, like Valerie mentioned, anybody out there wants to reach out to Peach Street Podcast, you go ahead. Any other candidates, anybody in the school, city, county, just come and tell us a little bit about yourself, what's going on. I know we have new coaches in town. We extend our invite out to you guys. Come out, introduce yourself a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just everybody else as well. We're here to put some information out there for the public. That being said, I want to give a shout out to Pecos Little League, the Astros. You guys come check us out. We'll be playing at Cyclone and Chano Prieto Field as well.
Cool. Yep.
Yes, we had opening ceremonies there this weekend and games there, so we're kind of bringing it back a little bit.
Yeah, I like that.
And also, like Valerie said, she's using this platform to talk a little bit about what's going on in the city, a little bit about herself. We want to extend our invite to everybody else as well. I mean, not just candidates running or anything like that, but we have some new coaches in town, things like that. You want to come in, introduce yourself a little bit, let them know a little bit about your background. Anybody else that wants to give a little bit feedback for the community, we're here for you. Reach out and we'll make it happen.
Yes, sir. So we're here for Valerie today, right? This podcast is so y'all can get to know her, and I kind of like this question because it just gets right to the point. Like, why do you want to serve on the council?
Wow, how much time do we have?
Yeah.
So I'm running for my second term on city council. God willing, I can be voted in again. I was special appointed back in 2019 on an unexpired term that Oscar Ornelas had. He was changing routes. I guess he was going to start working for the city, so he needed to resign from the council. So we were kind of talking about things that were going on in the city, and he reached out. He's like, you know what, are you interested in maybe completing this term? So we kind of went back and forth. I showed up to a meeting in October, not really knowing how the whole process was. I wasn't sure exactly if I was going to get voted in because, of course, like the other council members need to vote. Like, okay, are we going to allow this person to fill this role? So I was voted in that night, thank God. And I was going to be up to be okay. How can I explain it? So it was an unexpired term, right? So the election to fill the whole term was set to be in March of 2020. Well, we know what happened in March of 2020, right? COVID hit. So that election was pushed back till November of 2020. So when I went for that term, I was voted in. And we also voted that city council members, mayors, you only are able to serve 2 4-year terms, just to kind of reduce the amount of people spending their whole lives on some sort of elected official, some office. So this is my second, hopefully, term that I can serve on. I'm from Pecos. I graduated from here, class of 97. I'm aging myself. Graduated in 97. I moved away, lived in Alpine, got married, got divorced, came back home, decided ultimately that this is where my roots are. This is where my family is. I have 2 kids. My parents are here. My family's here. Helped me get my kids through school. They're also graduates of Pecos High School, Caitlin and Christian. And I want to serve my community. I have always been really vocal. I want to be involved. I want to know what makes the government work, what makes city government work, not just city, but like local, federal levels. So I feel like I have a unique opinion or background on how to proceed in the local government. I am a single parent, seeing the struggles of what the economy has done to people that don't necessarily work in the oil field. I struggled. I fought to raise my kids by myself, put myself through school, went through nursing school, fought my way to get my bachelor's degree. It took me 20 years. Poco a poquito, I would take classes here and there when I could afford it, when I could handle it. Life is, you're taking a couple steps forward and then something knocks you on your ass 5 steps back. So it took me 20 years to finally get that degree, and I'm really proud of it. It's an expensive piece of paper. I'll be paying on it for a while, but I love my community. I'm a nurse. I take care of viejitos and viejitas at the nursing home. I've been a nurse for 15 years. Love it. Love long-term care. Love taking care of the elderly. I've taught some of y'all's kids, actually. Had them in class, and that is something that I'm really proud of. Some of the kids that I had as students are now reaching out to me and saying, Ms. Trujillo, we would be so proud to be able to vote for you for city council. Thank you for being there for us, for being able to represent what Pecos is, strong values. We take care of each other. You know, I think a lot of people love to slam on Pecos. Oh, it's so dusty, it's so ugly, what's going on, there's no growth. But you know what? We stick together. And in times of adversity, válgame, I can't even say it.
It's all right. Adversity.
I'm getting ahead of myself. We stick together. You know, when there's something going on, we stick up for each other. And that's something that I've been really proud of. And I hope to continue to be the voice on council that can resonate to women, minorities, single parents on council. So
Very good.
On city council, the definition, like, what is it that you guys talk about? You know, is there something coming up, like they're trying to approve something, and in order for you to get reelected, is there something like you haven't finished yet, and you getting reelected, you want to make sure that that solution is finished?
Yes, of course. So we recently had the opportunity to go to Austin and DC to go with our lobbyists to put forth some projects and some things that have kind of been neglected here in Pecos, right? It's now with the oil and gas industry, you guys know that there's a lot of money coming out of Pecos. We're huge oil and gas producers in the state, not only in the state, in the nation. So we had so many compliments of the city working with the county, the hospital board, the Economic Development Corporation. We've established these relationships to where everybody is finally getting along. Where for so many years you would kind of hear that the city council is not getting along with the commissioners, the commissioners aren't getting along with the school board, and now we have this awesome bond and this connection and relationships that we've been able to move these projects forward. We've been able to pass infrastructure projects that we need to keep going, and I feel that by shaking it up and adding different people on the council, everything, you know, we disagree. I think anytime you have people with different backgrounds and beliefs, we disagree, but I think one thing that's on the council is that we can all talk about the issues at hand and we move forward. We just kind of put it behind us, we talk about it, discuss it, and move on. And I feel that, you know, to continue getting the things that are important to Pecos, like fixing up the roads, getting our parks in better condition. That's one of the things that I'm a strong supporter of. Cyclone, you know, it's a beautiful new park, but is it perfect? Not yet. You know, we have a lot of work to do, and I feel that by staying on the council, it helps me maintain that voice to continue these projects through.
Okay, so you were talking about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I did a little bit of research on Googling stuff, because that was one of the questions that came from anonymous. They don't want to say their name, and it was about money, right? So if I'm wrong, correct me, you know, or maybe this person might be wrong, but if you guys are getting $1 million, either monthly or quarterly, and you just mentioned there's projects, right? There's multiple projects that you have to split the money into, or in order to make Pecos better. What, like, my question is, like, how many projects do y'all have and y'all have to complete?
Yeah, well, there's so many. You know, the agenda and the budget is set forth every year, every fiscal year, right? Like the different departments get together and they have the plans, like whether it's for staffing or housing, bonuses, not necessarily bonuses, that was the wrong word, supplies, anything that their department is going to need, parks, you know, the parks department. So everybody comes forward with these plans and you go to council and you propose your ideas, or you pitch what is needed, street repair, etc. So yeah, everybody kind of works together to make sure that these projects like start from beginning to end. And that's something that I think we've had issues in Pecos, is that people come in, right? You have a new city manager that comes in, shakes things up a little bit, projects start, and then it doesn't finish, so there's multiple projects. There's the street sign repairs, the roads. That's a big thing that needs to be
So
completed.
I'm sorry to cut you off right here, but
No, that's okay.
So earlier you mentioned there's a 2-term limit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with this 2-term limit, is that hindering Pecos from actually advancing forward? Because like you said, somebody else comes in and then we'll do this instead of what they were doing. Like, how do we get that taken care of?
Yeah, so no, actually I was part of the council that voted to do the 2-term limit for city council. We thought 8 years, I think that's, if it goes correctly, you can continue overseeing one of the projects that are going through, just kind of oversight and giving the city manager, the other department heads, the guidance to continue. I don't think it's a hindrance. I feel that giving the 2-term limits, you kind of encourage other people to get involved and get fresh ideas in there, because before me getting in, there was council members, and Mr. Thayes, he was an amazing person. I don't know if y'all know Mr. Thayes.
He used to cash checks?
Yes.
Yeah.
He had his store on the east side. He was a businessman. He served until they voted him out, unfortunately. I mean, not unfortunately. Change happens, right? Elections are the voice of the people. But I think that by giving the 2 terms, you kind of keep the ideas fresh. You keep the elected officials accountable to what the voters want. Mm-hmm. And, it's the first time that we're going to do the 2-term. It's a new ordinance that we voted in.
When did that pass?
That passed, man, I can't tell you exactly the year, but it was a couple years ago.
Okay, so this is a recent change.
It's a recent change.
And with that, I had a couple of questions since that were brought up, since you were touching the subject about streets and stuff. But now that you were touching up on the 2 terms, and I'm pretty sure you guys have it covered. What if there's anybody being challenged after? Let's say this was your 2nd term and there was no challenger. How does that work?
From what I understand, and I could get further clarification from our city attorney, I think even if I'm not challenged, I think we can't serve another term. I think you have to step down.
So would council members vote somebody else
in? I don't think you could. I think it's just...
So it would be a vacant seat or what?
They would probably put it up for a special election, possibly. And like I said, I think I probably need more clarification for that. Okay. But I feel that we would probably have a special election.
Because there's at times that hospital board or sometimes school board doesn't even go challenged.
Yes.
Since you guys have that already for 2-term limit, there's a possibility that at some point down the road it'll go unchallenged.
Right.
So, okay, special election. So if they do, some sort of special election, but no one still wants to get involved, if somebody just says, "Hey, I'll do it," would that be something that they would vote in?
I guess if you have the majority of the council that would allow somebody else to come in and you kind of get voted in, then I think that would go on to fill the unexpired term or the rest of the term, and then you're up for election.
So with that, right, 2 terms, is there a time limit where if you stepped in to finish off that term, would that count as one of your terms?
So like for me, for example, I was special appointed in 2019, right? So it was like 6 months, and then the first time I was voted in, that's my term.
The church, okay.
And then like this other one is going to be considered my 2nd term, because I wasn't officially voted in by the community.
So it has to be an official vote and not a special. Okay,
yes,
so
not a special
someone
appointment.
could technically do 3 terms then, if it just happened to fall that way.
I guess,
Okay.
I guess you're right.
All right.
Let me touch up on this
step down.
question real quick, unless somebody has a question. No questions?
No, he's already answered pretty much on that.
And when you were touching up on, when he asked about budgeting and how everything gets allocated to different departments and stuff, the streets, that was always a main concern or a hot topic around for the streets and stuff like that. Could you clarify a little bit? Third Street, is it city maintained, county maintained, state, as well as Eddy Street?
Good old
and-
Third Street,
Yes.
man, that gets a ton of traffic, and that is actually state. That's TxDOT.
That's TxDOT.
That is a TxDOT, and it's hard, to get.
What
There's
would
a
be,
lot of oil field
is there any
traffic.
plans? I know back, I want to say maybe 18, 17, there was plans for a truck route back then with Frank
Yes.
Expenser, I think, surveying it. And there was a time limit, I think, coming around 2025 to 2030. So what's the city stand on working on the truck
So
route?
that was actually one of the things that we went to Austin and DC and talked about, because that, excuse me, anytime that you deal with TxDOT, any type of state projects, it takes forever. There's so much red tape, and then they do studies, and then they come back, and it's a mess. So we were actually able to get meetings with some of our top legislatures, and you basically go and you say, hey, look, y'all need to face this problem. This is a huge, not only a safety risk, but we know what happens when 285, when there's a train going through there. We just recently had that really bad accident. Not only is it a safety issue, it's also a production issue. You've got to get people. There's not a route, a reliever route. That was one of the things that we went and gave them the numbers of how many people actually travel on that road and how important it is. Like, they need to really tackle that and fast track it through. Unfortunately, it's there's a saying, the squeaky wheel needs the grease, or gets the grease, or something like that. So we had to go over there and kind of just say, hey, look, Pecos, Reeves County, huge oil production. It's for our citizens. We're paying our fair share of taxes. It's not safe, and it needs to be done. We can get more information.
So whenever something's coming up, right, for the city of Pecos, right, do you all have y'all get an agenda in ahead of time? Like, hey, this is what we're trying to fix here in Pecos?
Yes.
And then you guys get together?
Well, we get the agenda. The agenda is posted and sent out to us 72 hours before the meeting happens. We go and we get the agenda with all the attachments. We reach out to each other. But due to the Public Information Act, you can't have more than 3 council members together, because that you'd have to post and say, hey, there's a group of council members, without being
An official meeting.
an official meeting.
Yep.
There's a lot of rules. We can't just be like, hey, let's all meet at
Let's go
lunch
hang
and
out.
talk about it. We can't. It has to be like me and another council member, or me reaching out. There's a lot of rules and regulations that prevent us from all getting together as a council, but we all, we get that packet, we get the information, we do our research, we hear from our voters, we reach out to the person that's specifically putting that item on the agenda. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the city agendas, but it'll show presented by, for example, Charles Lino. He's our city manager. He's the one that's putting something on the agenda. Syra Nichols, our city secretary. So those are the ones that send us all the necessary paperwork, and all of this is available to the public. The agendas are on the website, and the council packet is all posted. So all of this is done so that the public is aware of what's going on. And if you see something on the agenda, hey, that's interesting. Hey, they're working on, for example, an ordinance for, I know a hot topic recently was to prevent the cars being parked in people's yards, having to have a paved road or gravel or something. That was something that we had a lot of people reach out to us and say, you know what, don't be telling us where the hell to park our cars. You know what I mean? That's our property. Don't tell us. So that's something that we had people that come out and express their opinions.
Right.
No, but it also serves different purposes. No, I mean, sometimes a safety issue. Let's say there's, God forbid, a house on fire and cars are parked, and it makes it harder for fire department getting in, or PD to make rounds, or if anything's happening.
Yes, and that's a really good point that you bring up, because let's say the EMS, needs to get in and get somebody out for safety reasons. There's a fire, or they're working on the cars in the front. There's gas, there's flammables. It's a big safety hazard, and your neighbor is there, working with all of these fluids, and it's not necessarily the best thing to do with a neighborhood full of people.
So, kind of going back to the agenda getting posted and everything. One of the questions that we did get was, how do you plan to ensure that the council is transparent and accountable to the public? So, I kind of want to extend on that. Like the agenda, the money that comes in, like is all of that available at all times? Like,
Oh, yeah,
where can we
absolutely.
go to find that?
Yeah, so that all of that is on the website. You go and you pull up the agenda, the budgets. Also, we have budget workshops where we sit through, and it takes hours because you go through each department and each line item, which each budget of what's coming in. Okay, this department has, let's say, I don't know off the top of my head, $5,000 allocated for office supplies. We go through there and we're going through, and we go through line by line by line. Like everything is completely out in the open. We get reports every month from the cyclone ballparks. The tax revenue that's coming in, the state income tax, everything that's coming in, like we have to allocate it and we have the expenditure reports of what's actually being spent every month, and that is every department. Like you have to go in there and, hey, you spent, like for example, payroll. Like we get to see exactly like what is being sent back to the state, what's being spent, and every month we have, twice a month we go through that and we approve it or we deny it. Any checks that went out, any spending, we go through all of it.
And that's from the quarterly money that you guys get, or is the monthly money that you guys
It's
get?
monthly. I'm sorry. Yeah, so there's sales tax that, how can I explain it? Like
Like the hotel?
the hot tax money, that's with the board, and they approve any requests that they come in. They meet also. And then we have our sales tax money that comes in, plus the taxing from taxes, right? City taxes that people pay. So all of that kind of comes into this pool of like different accounts, and we have to make sure that everything is spent according to the regulations of that account.
Talking about the city, right? The city pay, right? The people who live in houses, right? Now, have you ever thought about putting the RVs part of the city? Because a lot of their kids, they come to our school, and it's like I see it like people who live in the houses, they're getting taxed, but the people from the RV are not.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I feel like there's money that we're losing as a city, right?
There's a lot
If
of
there's any
money.
way that can they raise it on the people who are renting the RVs? Maybe that y'all guys can get the money
Yeah,
that you
so
guys are
we-
losing from the RVs.
We're just discussing this item because the last time that was actually brought up for discussion was, years ago. It was, I think it's like a $250 fee that the RV park is paying for their permit. So when the RV situation started in Pecos, y'all probably remember,
Yeah,
there was
the
no
boom.
housing, the boom, right? It's like they started popping up, boom, 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 boom. People started putting up RV parks in their backyard. It's a mess. It's out in the county, it's in the city limits. So we're trying to pull the reins back on that and address that situation, because if, somebody's staying in a hotel, it's the hot tax, right? That their head's in bed. They're paying the appropriate taxes for the community. But like the RV parks, I don't want to say that it's draining our resources, but it kind of is, because one, they're tapping into our city water and our utilities. And let's say somebody has 3 RVs in their backyard, they're not going to be charging these people $500. It's probably like $1,000 a month. I mean, it's a lot. So we're currently revising that ordinance, getting stuff tightened up so that we can account for that a lot better, because that is the main concern that people, not only is it,
I think
it's financially, but it's also health and safety, and it's, we need to be able to provide a better quality of life, because there's families living in these RVs. These kids do go to our schools. They're providing, there's workers there. We just want to make sure that as a community we can, 1, get the revenue that we need, and 2, provide the infrastructure to be able to support more housing, which is another one of the big issues that we have in Pecos right now. Y'all know if there's a house for sale, it's crazy expensive. I mean, the cost of living is high. We recently passed a multi-entity project to build a multifamily like condos off of Stafford. That's going to provide necessary housing for city employees, county employees, hospital, EMS, anybody. And it's going to be a really cool project because they're going to be able to purchase these condo homes kind of like on a rent to own basis. We're going to be able to sign a contract with them to where they're able to, you know, get their credit in check, be able to save up for the down payment, and actually be homeowners at an affordable, semi-affordable price.
And is that going to be just for city workers, EMS people,
public
or
as well.
Yeah, it's going to be for each entity is going to pretty much like offer, like get a couple like units, and then they'll be able to, like other public will be able to possibly
So
purchase
there's going to
this.
be some that are definitely set for.
Yes, for the public.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's needed. I mean, I know when, like the school apartments, I'm sure you can tell us, Jesus, that there's probably a waiting list for those units already. It's important, and we're not meeting the needs of people that want to move to Pecos.
Exactly, and it kind of shoots ourselves in the foot by not having a lot of houses or where to put people in that want to come to Pecos and build here and bring their kids and families.
Yeah.
Do you feel that, I know there's Oldfield within city limits. Do you feel going forward that put not a damper, but kind of restrict, but it's kind of like restriction of where we can build? Like, let's say the north side, I don't know, north side, right as soon as you cross the tracks, pump jacks right there. You know, would that hinder the growth of Pecos? Because, I mean, we can only go so far out now since everything's real close to city limits.
You know, that's it's a really good point.
But
Go
they
ahead.
extended it, right? They extended it all the way over there because now I see city cops all the way to
As we've annexed
Green Acres,
oh,
correct?
yes, Green Acres all the way over there. So I mean,
So-
have they have any plans to build more
Yeah,
houses on
there's,
that area to make Pecos grow, and maybe that would eliminate more RVs? Because as what I noticed, that our population, it's like what they have a census at 9,000, 10,000, but in reality we have more than that.
You know, it's so interesting because our actual census, it shows that it's like maybe 10,000 actual residents. But on any given day, the numbers that they've given us is that there's probably like 30, 40, 50,000 people in Pecos on any given day.
That's
So
way too
these
many
are
people.
transient. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are transient workers, RVs. It
It's
kind of
some-
hit us out of nowhere. You know what I mean? For such a long time, we didn't have the funds to be able to modernize things, to be able to, hey, think about what's going to happen in the future. We're kind of in our own little square, in our own little bubble, thinking, oh, Pecos, we have enough space, and we're clearly busting at the seams.
Yes.
What are the plans for the city after the oil field, though? Like, let's say, the oil field won't last forever, Eventually, we're going to run out of resources and stuff. And a lot of people are coming here to, like, make money, but they always go back home. They come get the piece of the pie, even companies, and then they leave back to where they're from. What is the city thinking of doing once that runs out? How are they going to keep the economy afloat? Like, what other projects are going to come to this town to provide not homes, but jobs, permanent jobs for the locals? Because a lot of locals, they get angry. With the oil field, that's why everything's up. Price of food, everything, right? And we're the ones who have to pay because we have normal jobs.
Yep.
So what is something that you would do to help that in the future, like you're saying?
So for me, I'm a huge believer in education, in allowing our kids to get a good foundation in the public school. We offer some really good pathways. We offer like the welding, the CNA. Now there's going to be for culinary arts. The hospital is new. We need to build our own kids. We need to strengthen the education options that we have in the community. I feel that by me being on council, I've also been a huge supporter of allowing our city employees to continue their education, whether it's in business or accounting or anything that's going to benefit the city. and we will reimburse the tuition. We allow people to continue their education so that they can grow those roots. We encourage anybody to, there's other options. There's the hospital that people can work at. We're currently in the works of hopefully I'm not spilling the beans on this, a gas plant that's natural resources, the gas, couple of gas plants that are really considering Pecos.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you
So there's
next.
like different industries, not just
Is there other
oil and
projects or
gas.
other like big companies trying to come in here and like maybe factories or because we know back in the day people from Pecos Anchor.
Yes.
You see what happened with Anchor when
Yeah.
Anchor shut down. This town started
Prison.
becoming a ghost town.
Yeah.
Everybody started
Yes.
moving.
The prison.
Prison.
Yeah.
In the prison too. So
prison.
now it's like that's the ideology. Like, okay, well we know right now the oil field is providing all these jobs for the locals, and they're making good money. But eventually they know as well, like, well, we'll make our money, sell our house, and go to
Yeah.
Odessa,
And that's
Midland.
what-
So all that going that way.
Yeah, that's why we
So-
have to strengthen our own, like educate our
Has it been
kids.
companies? Like,
Yeah,
besides
it's
that?
it's different industries that want to come into Pecos, but also we need to be able to make sure that we have the housing so
housing
that they
faci-
can move to Pecos.
I got you.
We make it really easy for them to come in and say, "Oh, we're going to book Holiday Inn for the guys and ladies to work," but the man camps. That's another component that we hadn't really touched on. There's the man camps. There's a lot of there's so many pieces to the puzzle that we are working on so
Yeah,
that
it's
we
a lot.
can create a good foundation for, like you said, like us.
I know, like, it might sound weird, but like a lot of people like crypto. It's a new technology coming into the world, right? Would the city ever think about maybe like investing in cryptos to like make the money value go up in the economy in Pecos?
So there's I believe in Pio there's like some cryptocurrency. I can't really comment. Like I don't understand cryptocurrency very well, but there is a place in Pio, and there's like and that employs a lot of people. It's something that the city has. I don't know if you guys have watched the movie, the Born in Denver, Raised in Pecos. Let me take my sunglasses. I can't see you anymore. It's dark. That explains, I guess, the birth of cryptocurrency in the area. A lot of people are noticing Pecos now. We see, especially with like the schools, like what community in the area currently has almost every single school is going to be new. That is attracting the attention of all of these workers, and we want them to come to Pecos so that we can grow our own, strengthen our own
Take
community.
advantage of the momentum,
Yes,
the moment
exactly.
in Pecos, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I know because we're running almost out of time, but Laura, we're already at 40 minutes, but
Already?
it's okay.
Oh my gosh.
So, has this been an agenda, the pool? Because I know that was one of the questions that I got is saying, they removed all the pools, even Barstool, and have they ever have a talk about it? And maybe that's part of the reason why you want to get reelected, so you can like, hey, let's finish this.
Yeah, let's finish that. Our summers are hot.
Yes.
I remember growing up, man, there was the athletic pool, Northside pool, Barstow. It's kind of shameful that we don't have a place like that to offer
The
our
nearest
kids.
place is Bombery.
Exactly. And then there's a line to get
We got
in.
the rec.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
the
yeah,
rec,
that's county.
but it's hot in there
Yeah.
in the summer. You want somewhere outdoors.
Yep.
So the county right now currently has a project, and it's a multi-million-dollar facility that's on the works. We understand that it's an issue. They also have a lot bigger pockets than the city does. So they started. They took surveys, and there's a study that's very close to starting the pool. So that's going to be an amazing project that people are going to be really proud of. I agree. I think we need to do a better job at providing stuff like that for our kids to do. We need to provide recreation projects.
Is there something that the city would do that would cancel all of that? Like, is there something that in this survey and then the county's doing what they're doing, something that Pecos would start or get that to just fall off completely?
No, because they've already done like the studies for it. They already have the land. I believe there was some discussion of putting a like a hotel attached to it, to where, let's say you have big events and it could kind of all be tied to like Cyclone, because you've got people coming in for tournaments and different things like that. And if you have everything for the rodeo, you need an event space. So I believe that's something that's like set and happening. But I don't think one pool is enough for Pecos.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I feel like we have enough need, and there's a lot of people that we can work together as a city to be able to make sure that something like that happens.
Cool. And before we go off, since we're running out of time, the question is, what is something she has accomplished as a single candidate? But I'll rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
What is one thing that Valerie Trujillo is proud of that she has contributed? She got elected to being on the council.
Wow, I can't just pick of one. One thing is the expansion on Cyclone. That has, it started off as a little project. It kind of came back to the council. I was able to be part of the discussions to be able to expand it. That's going to be amazing when it's done. I am really proud of being part of this team that has worked with the Economic Development Corporation to bring Starbucks, to get Wendy's, Burger King, the other hotels in the area. We're getting, a Dollar Tree. There's other things that are coming to Pecos that are starting. There's a lot of other things on the radar. But being part of this awesome team that has allowed me to learn and see what goes on behind the scenes, it's been an honor. So I hope I continue to serve.
Okay. With that being said, let us know why you're the best candidate.
Okay. So I want to reach out to the citizens of Pecos and humbly request your support to continue on City Council. I have learned so much during my tenure, and I hope that I have made Pecos proud, and I have been able to work with the other entities to make sure that we continue on this right track to allow Pecos to grow. There's a lot of work to be done. I wanted to come out here and start kind of planting the seed in people's minds that it's not just up to the council, it's not just up to the commissioners and school board to make these things happen. We have to show up, we have to be vocal, we have to be able to collaborate and work together to make sure that we do hold our elected officials accountable. We vote them in, we have the power, we give them that vote of confidence, but we ultimately decide whether or not we want them to continue. And I hope that I have worked hard and I've put in my time with the discussions and the local projects that are going in. I hope that I've earned the citizens' trust, and I hope that I can continue and finish off my second term as your city council member for Town of Pecos City for seat number 5. Thank you.
Well,
No, that was awesome. I really appreciate you being here with us. Thanks for taking the time off your day to come out and explain some of these things, answer some of the questions the public had. We'll see you. Good luck.
Thank you so much, guys. And I encourage everybody still to, let's not end the discussion here. Reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. I work at the nursing home. You can go in there and, reach me there. Reach out to the guys here on Peach Street Podcast. And I just have to tell you guys that Peach Street has a very central meaning to me. My aunt Petra was, I don't want to cry. That was her nickname, Peach. So whenever I saw you guys, the Peach Street Podcast, it brought a tear to my eye, like it does now, because that was our sentimental cariño for her. So I have a special gift for y'all. I'll give it to you guys off camera and stuff, but it's Peach Street. It's very special and near and dear to me. So I appreciate what y'all are doing. But let's not end the discussion. Reach out to me. Hold your elected officials accountable, and I'm including myself. So let me know how I can be of service.
Also, just gonna let you guys know as well. It's just anybody's welcome. Okay, anybody's welcome to come join us. I saw on the thing there's other members, there's other people who are racing, not only against you, but there's like Miss Seal and somebody else, and you guys are welcome as well to come and join us and be ready to get the questions asked to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and with that, I'm sorry, but we're running out of time, so we're just gonna have to sign off here. But again, everybody, thanks for joining us. Valerie, again, thanks for being here with
Thank
us.
you for having me, guys. It was fun.
Just
Well,
signing
we'll see you
off.
the next
Pistol
time.
Pete,
Definitely, guys.
Chinatown Chookies.
Mr. Loa.
Smoky Lonjas.
did you come up with your nickname?
Val La Mera Mera.
Let's go.
Oh.
God bless you.
Hey, wait. Before you close it, man, I just got to do a small shout out for the people, High Rollers Barber Shop. You know, they got me a fresh haircut to interview
All right.
Valerie.
Cool.
So
Thank
let's
you.
go.
Thank
Let's
you.
go.
All right. Thank y'all very much.
Have a good
Peace.
night. Thank you.
God bless.
You know-